right, we got Donald Trump all fixed up, Donald Trump Jr. Okay, these are the first results in, reported by Good Morning America. Early voting. Dixville Notch, right?
Notch.
Up by the Canadian border.
Can you say Dixville on the radio?
Okay.
Well, it's by the Canadian border?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that may go for a different candidate then. You know,
might go for Cruz, right?
So
here it is.
Came over the border, that's where he landed.
Trump 9, John Kasich 9, Ted Cruz 9. That's because he's from Canada. That's where he's. Chris Christie 3, Marco Rubio. I guess the circuit breakers went out on him again. He only got 1.
He got 1.
Jeb Bush 1. I think that was his mom.
He had a run-in with Chris Christie on the Jersey Turnpike the other night.
Carly Fiorina won.
Ugly.
And Rand Paul got a vote.
He got a vote.
Rand Paul got a vote.
Right in candidate, huh?
Right in candidate. Okay, so let's go back to Donald Trump Jr. So far, good show.
It's so far solid, you know.
Right, it's solid.
It's a small sample. You know, I don't know if statistically it means much, but we'll see what happens.
You know what we were saying, Donald, earlier? We want to get your take on this. Curtis and I were saying, like, we're going around talking to people. This is what, like, big media central here. Like, they've already written a narrative on your father. Mm-hmm. Like, if he doesn't win by, like, what?
They said if he comes
90?
in, 90. If he doesn't come in with a 90% margin, it's a defeat.
Yeah,
because
well, they need to fill the 24-hour news cycle, and that's one way to do it. So they build up expectations so that one way or the other they have the stories. If it's a huge win, it's still a loss. If it's it's been interesting watching this process because you see, you know, sort of how disingenuous it can often be, it's really frustrating.
Yeah.
Well, it really is. And look, a victory is a victory, right? I mean, especially you come to New Hampshire, and you know, we believe this is a must-win state for your campaign. We've said for a long time this is your firewall, but a win is a win. Whether it's 3, 5, 9, or 7 is irrelevant.
I agree with that 100%. I mean, we would just want to win.
Yeah, so you've got to win Iowa, and then
you roll on to South Carolina, where it's monster.
Correct. You know, it's an interesting state, though. I mean, it's one of those places where, again, anything can go. But you know, I think a solid win here just gives us some really good momentum. You know, the message is obviously resonating. It's been very, you know, people have been incredible about it. So we're just excited to be here.
Yeah, love your message. Now, I was at the Red Arrow Diner this morning.
Very nice.
And there was a Democrat, an old 74-year-old Democrat, sitting there, and he's saying. And next to him is a young guy trying to convince him to vote for Bernie Sanders. And he says, you know, I'm a Democrat, but I'm thinking of voting Republican this year.
You know what? I've heard it more often than not. You know, again, where I'm from in New York, I mean, I've had people coming up to me. I'm just trying to have dinner with my wife, get away from the 5 kids for a little bit, and I'll be out there, and someone will come up to me. I want to talk to you about your father, and I'm saying, oh God, like I don't need this. I'm having dinner with my wife. I want to be left alone, and I'm voting for him this year. I'm saying that I was not expecting. Right. You know, that wasn't something. And you know, they basically say, I've never voted for a Republican in my life. I don't necessarily even believe everything that he's saying is right because, you know, I'm basically Democrat at heart. But I'm so sick of the same old in politics. I'm sick of the stalemates. I'm sick of the special interests. I'm sick of, you know, just people making decisions that are going to affect my children and their children behind them who have no experience in the real world actually effectuating change. And, you know, they talk hypothetics in a room with 200 other people trying to figure out what's good, stuffing pork into bills to, you know, it doesn't work. And so many people have said it to us, which is why the movement's really special.
We're talking with Donald Trump Jr. here, the man whose father is the fearless chosen leader of our movement to take back America.
This is a movement.
This is a movement.
We've been saying that from day one. That's why this election is so critical, because if we don't get the result we want, then people are going to discredit the movement, which is even worse long term. I want to talk about your family a minute, Donald Jr. Look, your father's got 5 children. Normally, or a lot of times when you're in kind of the situation that you're in, there's something going on. I mean, you guys all got straight A's. You're all doing fine. There's no issues. In fact, I got to say the story. I had your dad on. I guess he was on early my show one day, and he took the call from his house.
Yeah.
And it was, I don't know, 7:35 or 7:40 or something. Right in the middle of the call, I guess your 9-year-old brother came running into the room.
Yeah.
And he's like, Daddy, what time's the Giants game Sunday?
Yeah. Yeah.
He laughed at that. He said, 1 o'clock. Are we going? I said, I don't know. I don't think so.
No, he's great. I mean, he's just an amazing father. He's an amazing grandfather now. I mean, I have 5 kids of my own now, and just seeing him with those, I mean, I think that's the thing that people don't see. I mean, they see Trump being Trump, and being out there as either business success or now on the political road, but they don't see him as the guy I know him, which is just a great dad, a great guy, a funny guy, just an incredible sense of humor. They're just. We always joke, every family meal that's somehow not on camera is a missed opportunity for incredible ratings. Like, you can take that and just sell it as a show. I mean, it's just amazing. And, just watching him have fun with this and trying to do something for the country. I mean, he doesn't need this. It's a thankless process, as you know. I mean, it is brutal. It's disingenuous. I'm not saying that real estate's the easiest business in the world, but I mean, there's some pretty nasty stuff going on with this. And,
really. So you'd rather deal with the mafia and the New York construction cartel than politics, huh?
It's the same, right?
It's pretty close. I'd say it's close.
You got a lot of experience doing that.
Basically the same. So, but it's interesting watching him doing it, and and he's loving it and having a good time. So it's awesome.
Well, he believes in what he's trying to do, and he believes in the movement that he started. I think that's
correct.
That's what drives him. Because I was telling Eric this the other day. I had him on my show in May, and I'm like, Mr. Trump, at the end of the day, let's just cut to the chase. You got it. You're pushing 70. You got a great life, great family, beautiful wife. You got a 9-year-old at home. You own the best golf courses in the world. You can do anything you want. Life's great. Yeah. Why would you do this?
I've asked him the same question.
I mean, and then spend your own money, millions of dollars.
What did he tell you?
Now, listen, honestly, he loves this country first and foremost, right? This country has given him a lot of incredible opportunities, given him a great family, a great business, and he's sick of seeing it get squandered away. Yeah. He's sick of it being, wasted and controlled by special interests, by guys who are incompetent, by people who've only been politicians, who've never really had to care for anyone and had, people's livelihoods depend on them. If these governors and the guys that are saying they have so much leadership experience, guess what? They've been campaigning for 6 months. No one's seen them in their home states. Guess what's happened? Absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
Everything's fine.
Right.
Nothing. If they all went to Mars for a few months, nothing would happen.
Right.
Things would happen. Payroll would be made. It's not the leadership position, in my opinion, that everyone thinks it is. The presidency is different. But there's so much bloat, there's so much excess in government these days that everything's going to get covered anyway, whether they're there or not. I mean, if he doesn't show up with his business, if he decides to shut things down, there's tens of thousands of people whose paycheck gets cut off that day.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's very different, and he takes that seriously, which is why he probably didn't go in 2012 or 28, frankly. It's different now. I think he trusts us with it, which is a great honor for us.
You're also older.
We're older. That's what I'm saying. I was 34 the last time around. You know what I mean? It's like, that's kind of a big business. It's
right.
Like,
right.
34-year-old, it's not stupid, maybe. We'll see.
Right.
Who knows? But he wasn't going to gamble with those people's livelihoods that way. And, now I think he was confident. You got my brother, my sister, myself in there, and he wants to see that change.
And speaking of livelihoods, that was the one issue, or that's the one thing that people were talking about at the diner this morning, jobs. Jobs.
100%.
That's why they were looking at your father and looking at not voting Democrat, voting for a Republican for the first time. They were concerned about, I used to be able to live on a job. Now the jobs aren't there.
The jobs aren't there, or you need 3 of them, or and he's going to do that by making sure corporations start staying in America. Yeah. You got to fix the tax system so that these guys don't escape to places where they can shelter their money and not have it here. That money's in here, it's respent here. More people are hired here. Guess what? There's more money in the system, and you don't have to worry about that. I mean, and he's been saying that, and guess what? He's been the only person ever saying it.
Right.
Like, I don't. It's not that novel a concept, but the other people don't want to touch it because the guys who control those corporations are writing their stroking their campaign checks.
That's the whole issue. Look, you win New Hampshire, you're going to be the nominee. I predict you guys are going to be the nominee in May, so you're going to win tonight and make me look once again like the genius I am.
Yeah, do it for John.
Yeah,
win for John so he doesn't look like an idiot.
That's my motivation. I'm going to work hard all day. Shake hands in diners for you, John.
Thank you, Donald Jr. I appreciate
my
that.
pleasure.
Right, you're my kind of guy. Right there.
That's what I am. Be good, guys.
Good luck.
Thank you,
Good
guys.
luck, Donald Trump Jr. here with the John Fredericks Show. Working hard for the people. That's what I like.
We're working hard for John. Make sure John doesn't look like a darn fool at the end of the day.
I know what you were going to say.